Nostalgia95 coming at you with another explaining Digimon attacks video. Just a side note, I'm very happy to be doing this once more, making videos about the beautiful topics such as Digimon. Now, to understand where I was, I made a separate video with a nice message about the dangers of social media. You can always get to the video by clicking on the link in the description box. So, what we are going to be doing here is study Mastemon's attack, which is called Chaos Degradation, or Chaos Degrade if you please. Description wise, it is an attack which merges the energy of both dark and light energies to create a gate through which enemies are sent to another dimension. It might seem simple an attack, so normally you shouldn't really be talking that much about it. However, those who have been following me for a while do know how much I enjoy to overthink even the smallest bits of details to figure out the complexity behind it. Another side note, we did make an in-depth analysis of Mastemon in a separate video. It was awesome. Your comments were obviously very helpful. Make sure to check it out if you feel like knowing a bit more about this half angel, half devil, at least when we're talking about its appearance. If there is one thing I've always loved in Digimon is that despite the power structures being defined by the various levels, meaning Rookie, Champion, Ultimate and Mega, still the higher level Digimon will not necessarily be stronger than one with a lower level. Some Digimon are exceptionally powerful for their rank, some other Digimon attack in groups, making them capable of taking down bigger and stronger Digimon, and some simply have strong attacks that won't necessarily kill an opponent but could, in one way or another, incapacitate. It could bring the enemy Digimon in a position where it cannot do harm. Best example would be the battle of Magna Angemon, who is at the ultimate level, and Paimon, who is at the higher Mega level. Magna Angemon used the Gate of Destiny to send Paimon in another dimension. A very impressive battle it was, and I've got a theory about what exactly happened to Paimon that got sucked in. Make sure to check that out. The link is in the description box. This leaves us with the question of how strong Mastemon's Chaos Degradation attack would be, or rather, how impressive is Mastemon's Chaos Degradation attack. Obviously, when you look at it from a video game perspective, I'm afraid that it isn't really that impressive. For example, in the game Digimon Cyber Sleuth, which is the game Mastemon made its first appearance, Chaos Degradation is a special move that reduces the HP of all foes by 25%. You may think that it is a good thing, which I would understand, but you have to know that it does mean that every other damage you inflict with the same attack will reduce and reduce in numbers taken from your opponent's health every time you use it. Also, here's what Abrar Quraishi said about it, and rightly so. It's weak in the sense that no matter the enemy, Chaos Degradation won't kill them, but it's also proportional to the strength of the enemy. The stronger the enemy, the stronger Chaos Degradation is. For example, if an enemy is at full 100 HP and Chaos Degradation is used, it will do 25 damage. But if you use it on the same enemy at 1 HP, it would only do 0.25 damage. So, it may be a bit sad, I would say, because when you look at the attack and the effects and even the name of the attack, you'd say that it's really very impressive. And yet, from the Digimon Cyber Sleuth point of view, it is not. But I would say that it is very normal that it isn't that impressive. Chaos Degradation, not to forget, is a gate. It sends you to another dimension, meaning that it does not kill. It sends you away, and that is perfectly shown in Digimon Cyber Sleuth by making it an attack that doesn't kill. Keihaku Road. Isn't it pretty much a utility skill? I mean, for the game, or better for game mechanics, it had to do some kind of damage. The effect that attacks have in the game also show its utility since it doesn't have base damage number but a percentage it shaves of the enemy's health. So basically, it does its job no matter what. In a way, you could say it's an absolute portal that can perfectly connect to other worlds or dimensions the user wants to go. The fact it's a utility skill means the power depends on how it is utilized. Perfect comment. The thing with the move Chaos Degradation is that we were looking at it from the wrong point of view. We shouldn't look at it from the point of view of how strong it is. I mean, maybe we can, but that would probably be in terms of vacuum power. Magna Angemon's Gate of Destiny had some vacuum power, but then again, it was not that impressive because in order to get Paimon to get sucked in by it, you had the entire group of Digidestined fighting against it. Magna Angemon needed assistance. Chaos Degradation looks to be working differently. In a sense, it almost looks like a black hole, right? An interesting comment was written by Anang Rabo, who wrote the following: From what I see, it is more like the wormhole theory. Let me explain that one first. Wormholes are predicted by the theory of general relativity. The wormhole theory postulates that a theoretical passage through space-time could create shortcuts for long journeys across the universe. But be wary, wormholes bring with them the dangers of sudden collapse, high radiation, and dangerous contact with exotic matter. Although, if that is going to be the case with Mastimon's chaos degradation, remains to be seen. Back to the comment of Anang Rabo. For me, I think the portal created by Mastemon and Magna Angemon with its Gate of Destiny is not the same. Magna Angemon's portal is more like a black hole in how it sucks everything. Mastemon is more like a bridge that can connect worlds. Now that is a very interesting comment because indeed, Mastemon's Chaos Degradation move did connect it to various worlds, but not all worlds. Let me explain. For that, we'll have to take you to the Digimon Cyber Sleuth world. You see, in Digimon Cyber Sleuth, a mysterious creature was identified and called Ether. It is a corrupted mass of data that is responsible for digitizing areas and causing human victims to fall into a comatose state called Eden Syndrome by eating its mental data. It is basically a disease caused by brain nerves being overloaded with data. The Ethers, created from negative human emotions and so by humans themselves, were infesting the digital world, and with that, the digital world's ruler, King Drasil, was determined that humans were the cause, and its royal knights were split in deciding whether or not its will was to destroy humanity to eradicate the Ethers. Crusadermon, one of the royal knights, was sent to Earth to find a way to bring the other royal knights to the real world en masse. It was posing as Miss Rie Kishihibe, the corporate executive officer who puts together the Eden Project promotion for Kamishiro Enterprises, and she also supervises Cyberspace Eden. Now, for your information, Kamishiro Enterprises is a company that owns a hospital and manages Cyberspace Eden and also has a headquarters in Eden. That cyberspace virtual reality dimension called Eden was created by Satoru Kamishiro and is run by that same Kamishiro Enterprise. When we're talking about Eden, we're talking about a next-gen web service where instead of transmitting information on screen, users can simply physically enter it and they can use various widespread service transactions and even administrative procedures. It even allows people to physically meet. It is basically us physically entering the internet and experience a new way of connecting with the others. Satoru Kamishiro was killed by Crusadermon, and subsequently Rie Kishihibe became the new CEO of Kamishiro Enterprise. Just another example to show you that Digimon kill. With the death of the old CEO, Rie Kishihibe was free to work behind the scenes trying to manipulate digital waves and find a way to bring the Royal Knights to the real world and start eradicate humans, as humans were the very cause of the Ethers corroding the digital world. In fact, discovering the origins of those monsters called Ether even led Leopardmon to propose that the Royal Knights invade the real world and destroy humanity, considering their responsibilities in the problematic. Leave it to humans to make things worse. Long story short, it is up to the male or female protagonists, with the names Takumi Aiba and Amy Aiba, depending on your choosing, to save both the real world and the digital world. In order to do that, a clash emerges between you as one of the protagonists and Crusadermon, after which you get sent in a digital void where you'll have a conversation with a very interesting someone. Escaping the void, the main character will come out weeks later only to find out that Crusadermon's plan did come to fruition. The opened dimensional portal has caused the entire world to become a giant digital shift, and Digimon are running amok in the real world. And so, a search starts to find the Royal Knights, who were a bit confused about what they should do, destroy humans or not, and in this quest, the goal is to convince the Royal Knights to join the sides of humans. There was a problem, however, for one Royal Knight. You see, when the portal between the digital world and the real world closed, the All-Force Vidramon of that Cyber Sleuth universe was caught between. It was unable to cross over in time. So Aiba, the main character, is tasked to recruit an All-Force Vidramon from an alternate reality. That is how Mastemon's power come into play. In Digimon Cyber Sleuth, there is a lab that is owned by Mireille Mikagura, a tamer who helps the main characters access the lab's various functions. She's partnered with Angel Woman and Lady Devimon, who she has taken the form of cats while in the real world. After summoning her Angel Woman and Lady Devimon, she has them DNA digivolve together into Mastemon to open a portal to her dimension, which is not the Cyber Sleuth dimension, but the redigitized universe. A future universe where all communication networks collapsed except for the GIGO network. GIGO is short for Global Information Global Organization. It is in that universe that the main character of Digimon Cyber Sleuth meets with Rina Shinomiya and her partner Vivi. It is that Vivi, or as we know it as Vmon, that would be taking the place of the All-Force Vidramon of the Digimon Cyber Sleuth universe, who had been unable to cross over into the human world. So here we can already say that Mastemon's Chaos Degradation move is already very impressive, considering it literally makes you jump from one universe to the other. And we're talking about a universe that you can't access just like that. Also, in Mastemon's description, it is said that when a great crisis visited the digital world, it controlled the forces of angels and dark angels that were called through the gate from another digital world. Unfortunately, we don't know exactly what other digital world we're talking about, or even what crisis, but it could be that Mastemon's space-time move might be among the most powerful when it comes to the distance that can be covered between universes. Andres Marrero wrote the following: "The main difference between Chaos Degradation and Ancient Wisemon and Magna Angemon's portals is the location on the other side." Let me explain that briefly to you. You see, Magna Angemon's Gate of Destiny is a manifested door to subspace from which there is no return and consigns the opponent into oblivion through it. Ancient Wisemon, an ancient mutant Digimon and one of the 10 legendary warriors, has a move called La Place Noma. It calculates the coordinates to the spirit world with ultimate wisdom and imprisons the opponent there for an eternity. Just another side note, I like how Digimon has plenty of pocket dimensions. It really makes the universe so big. And it's not even as if all these dimensions are connected one another. I mean, we don't know that, or maybe we do. I can say with certainty that the access to these universes is really limited. Anyway, Andres continued with the following: "Unlike the other two, meaning Ancient Wisemon and Magna Angemon space-time techniques, Mastemon can presumably access any world that exists within the quantum realm, but probably cannot access other realms, while the other two are more set in their locations." It reminds me of something. You see, Yggdrasil is known as the server tree that rules over all of the digital world on one, and I repeat, on one server of the network. When we talk about Yggdrasil and we try to understand it, we would have to include Norse cosmology, because over there the branches of Yggdrasil extend far into the heavens and the roots extend far away into other locations, and around it exists all else, including the 9 worlds. So what if the Digimon universe on Yggdrasil server was also a bit like that, with 9 universes? I know that Asgard is home of a ruling class of deities, and that somehow reminds me of the Digimon Angelic universe. Alfheim is home of the elves, and for some reason it reminds me of Witchenly, that magical universe in the Digimon universe. Midgard is the realm of humans, so that's simple. For some reason I feel that Nidavellir, which is home of the dwarves in Norse cosmology, would be suitable for the Apmon universe. They are linked to Digimon, but are also a thing of their own. And then there's Hell, which would be the equivalent of the Dark Area. Some of the other universes could be filled with those locations the space-time attacks of Ancient Wisemon, Magna Angemon and Mastemon would lead you to, which means that these respective dimensions will also have to be explored in one way or another. It might require lots of theories, or maybe not, because in the case of Magna Angemon, it might not be that useful as the Gate of Destiny sends one to oblivion, but for example, Ancient Wisemon is sending you to the spirit world, so that will require some research. Also, considering Mastemon's ability to jump from one dimension to the other, I would also say that time plays an immense role in defining the different universes, because I feel like the Digimon universe is expanding. Digimon is obviously pretty linked with internet, and that alone is growing every day, meaning that the Digimon universe might also be in motion. It might also be growing bigger. So how impressive is Mastemon's Chaos Degradation? I'll go straight to the point, it is very impressive. If it made me talk that much, then it has to be impressive. It is a very unique move that gives access to places otherwise not accessible, and it is also that space-time move that made me confirm that the Digimon universe is much bigger than initially thought. Hi guys, this is the end of the video. I really need to try and make a video dedicated to explaining the Digimon timeline and explaining the Digimon universe. Considering how complex and chaotic that world is, I could imagine myself speak an hour or 3, but with your help, I'm sure we could make that happen, so let us stay in touch for that. I really missed making these videos, by the way. It feels good to release them. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I admit I kind of feel rusty, but that'll change. Now, if you're new, make sure to subscribe and leave a like in the comment. Make sure to check the playlists. The videos are given in proper order. Also, make sure to check the videos I put in the description box if you haven't already. They are related to this video and will give you more insight. See you in the next video.